I'm Jason Goliath,
And I'm Nicholas Goliath.
and this is a new podcast called The Happiness Economy, where we try and unpack, figure out, investigate, interrogate, I think holistically understand what is happiness even.
What is it to you? What is it to me? Is it different? Is it the same? What do you do to chase your happiness? Just chase it. We want to chat to people who we believe have found their happiness or are on the way to finding their happiness and find out what it is that makes them happy.
So, if you're happy, we're happy. The Happiness Economy with Nicholas and Jason Goliath. Tell her what you must. Okay, welcome to an extraordinarily bubble-ass episode. Welcome to a highly anticipated episode of the Happiness Economy podcast, the podcast where we interrogate people who we deem to be happy on the streets and make sure that they are in fact happy. And if they're not, we make sure that they're that. But essentially, we are here to interrogate happiness. Today, comedian, TV personality, creative extraordinaire,
woman.
and mental wellness bastion of South Africa.
Bastion.
Nina Hastie, everybody.
Hi.
Somebody clap there in the back. Clap there for
Hi.
Nina.
Hi, guys.
Whoopa. Nobody's whistled. That's
Whoopa.
the first whistle
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
yeah.
season. First whistle for the season.
Also, that was a deep sigh as Jason was talking about happiness. I just heard you go, I don't know if that's in the audio, but I heard the deep sigh. So
Oh,
we're going
is
to get
it?
into it. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it was just the Spanx. It was just the
Ah,
Spanx.
ah,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like
just the-
yeah, you know,
Yo,
like,
That's just
like,
the
whoa,
decompression.
okay.
The
like when
you
the
know, like
Okay.
air brakes,
Okay.
you know, in
Yeah.
a truck,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. As you slow down and settle in.
So if that's not hydraulics, what is it? Is it like an?
It's hydraulics.
Is it hydraulics? But then why does it go?
Because hydraulics uses air. So it's the compression of air.
But
and oil.
hydro means water.
It just depends. I mean, don't out me in my science in
I'm
front
just
of...
No,
saying.
hydraulics because it uses the liquid
Yeah.
in the
Liquid.
piston.
So maybe it.
Pressure.
But
Yeah.
the brakes have a build-up of air. Let's not talk about trucks.
Okay. No, I dig trucks.
No,
I
yeah,
need to try
that's
some.
another show.
trucks.
Yeah.
That's another show. So, yes, no, because before I get into trouble with my knowledge of trucks, very dangerous. The main point. So, Nina, we've obviously always been excited to chat mental wellness, to chat so many
Mental
things. We've
wellness.
been on mental wellness, yeah.
Mental wellness,
yeah.
exactly.
Which is what a lot of people are going
Yes.
through.
Mental wellness.
Coining the phrase.
Yes.
But I mean, you and I have had many chats over our careers, many ups, many downs, many highs, many lows, many magnificent moments. Today we're going to focus on just three things. The happiness economy for us is all about gap, and gap is three words: gratitude, acceptance, perspective. And where we agree that there's no such thing as just happily ever after, you've got to work every single day, but we believe that if you use these tools, they will make accessing your happiness on a daily basis a little bit easier. And those are the only three things that we want to talk to you about today: gratitude, acceptance, and perspective. Nick often doesn't say perspective, he says perception, which very, very similar. So we'll give you the heads up so you understand where we're going to go. Gratitude, essentially, we just feel like all three of them are fundamental pillars. There's no particular order. We put them in that order so that we can call it gap, that they all have got to be in place and they all help each other. So gratitude, we just hope that everybody can exist in a space of gratitude. We believe that being able to find your gratitude and be close to your gratitude is one of the secrets to happiness. Acceptance, it's very difficult to feel gratitude if you don't accept your situation, if you don't accept yourself, if you don't love yourself as you are, where you are, and understand, what, where, how, and accept all of those things. Perspective, it's the 5%, 95% rule. Life is 5% what happens, 95% how you respond. Are you putting the right lens on? Are you taking things personally? So let's start at the beginning. Gratitude. What does gratitude even mean in the world of Nina Hastie?
You know what's so interesting is I've got like a little whiteboard on my balcony where
Yeah.
I stare out into the thing, and sometimes if there's something that I want to ruminate on for a while, I'll put it there, and it's just a subtle reminder
Yeah.
of like what my thoughts and intentions are for the time being.
Yeah.
And there's one that's stayed there for a while, and there was a study that was done on brains that gratitude and anxiety
Yes.
cannot live in the brain at the same time.
They happen in the same part of the
Yeah,
brain.
exactly. So, and then, so there's like different books that I've read and different thinkings that I've come from, from a spiritual perspective. There's that book I read many years ago, and then I lost book one. I left it at someone's house, but one of those books where you
Made
guys
notes.
don't, but,
No, we don't.
How deep?
No, Nicholas is a reader.
okay, are you a
I read
reader?
books.
Are you a
I read
reader?
books.
We've
I
got
don't
a
make-
reader.
I don't make notes.
Yeah, so and
Yeah.
it was highlighted and had notes or whatever, and I'd left it at somebody's house, but it's part of a trilogy. It's the book Conversations with God, and there's one the biggest takeout I had out of that whole thing was a prayer of gratitude is more powerful than a prayer of supplication. So supplication is please
Yeah,
can
yeah.
I.
Please can Arsenal
please
win.
can I? Please can Arsenal win. That's so funny because I often think about how many people are praying
Yeah.
on different sides of the sports field,
Yeah.
So a prayer of gratitude is more powerful than a prayer of supplication. Then Dr. Joe Dispenza, the guy. He
Yeah.
is the neuroscience guru, the manifestation master. He's got a book called Being Supernatural. In fact, Stuart, who you guys were out jolling with last
Yeah,
night, is a
yeah.
big fan of Joe Dispenza. No, he's a fan of the... there's another book, and I put him on to Joe Dispenza. Oh, no. We both were like, hey, do you
Joe
know that's
Dispenza.
Joe Dispenza? Anyway.
He dispenses
Yeah, he's
knowledge.
the guy. He's
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah.
Because he talks all about manifestation. And the thing that he posted yesterday, which also just reinforces this thinking that I've had for all these years. But, you've got to reinforce because
Yeah.
otherwise we forget because
Yeah.
we've got short memories,
Yes.
right? So he speaks about the concept of manifesting in a space of gratitude to, in your mind, think that you're already in the next step of where you want to be, right? So you don't go, do you guys remember when you came and brought me chairs and a TV at my Northcliffe flat?
Yes, when you were
Okay.
poor.
When I
Yes.
was poor. Remember
No,
when I
but
was
those
poor?
are like phase
Nina was
one
poor
chills.
and moving into North.
Yes,
When
Yeah.
you were
moving
poor
out
and
of the
moving-
poorness
yes.
and moving into Northcliffe.
Yeah.
It's generally where
And then
poverty
you gave me
stops.
half of my money for my deposit. You gave me a TV, and I moved into that thing. I paid you
chairs.
back in 2
Yes,
weeks.
yes.
You gave me plastic chairs. I think
Which
Katie
you were
also
going to
gave me
return
something.
to me.
Never
I
did.
never-
I said they must move because that's the...
Oh, the
Oh,
next
keep
step.
giving
to the
them.
next
Yeah, and
person
I did.
that
I
needs.
did give that
Pay a
stuff to the
plastic
next
chair
person.
forward.
I
Yeah.
did give it to the next.
And then she spent your duskin points.
We do not speak thereof.
We will speak
We
about
do
that.
not
We will
speak thereof.
speak about the
I'm
discount
sorry.
points another day. That is so funny.
So, Nina, you said a lot of things there, but you never answered my question.
Wag 'n bietjie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember driving. I remember getting because I didn't have a car yet, right? And I remember it was a long way from the gate all the way to my apartment.
Yeah.
And that first month or two, I walked from the gate. So I'd get an Uber or whatever, or someone would drop me, and I'd walk from the gate to my apartment. And then I was moaning to my mom, I don't have a car. And she's like, stop saying that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You're so right. And then what I would do is, as I was walking, I'd visualize myself driving a car.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool, this is me driving. And as I was walking over the hump, I was pretending that I was going over sideways because, I like a low profile. And I visualized this car, and that was my reality. I wasn't walking, I was driving.
Now I'm picturing like a Nyaupe person. When people are just looking at the crazy girl in the complex, going to whoop, 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 whoop,
Just going sideways over the speed hump.
Plus Nina's short, she's got to go sideways. Drop suspension anyway. Got to go sideways over the speed
You guys
humps.
are very funny. You guys are
Sorry, continue.
And then, okay, so what was the question? What is gratitude to
Yes.
me? What is gratitude to
Yes.
me? So gratitude is a repositioning of your mind that what you already have is enough.
Yeah.
Okay. And repositioning your mind outside of a place of lack and saying, like, now I'm busy packing. I'm going down to Cape Town for a few months but I'll be between the two places. So I'm busy organizing my house that there's enough stuff in Joburg and that I'll have enough stuff in Cape Town.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through my wardrobe, I'm like, fuck. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck. I've got such beautiful stuff. I've got so many beautiful things, and I've actually organized and maintained and created this life for myself that's so fucking beautiful. But I was really depressed for the last year because my mind was in I don't have this. I've failed. I fucked up. I did this thing and I took a big risk and it fucking flopped. And I was speaking to my friend, Tabang. Molea.
I'm sure.
He's the director.
Of course I know you,
yes,
Tabang.
Of course. Yeah. Anyway, so
doesn't know Tabang?
Tabang and I have also walked a very long journey with our mental health together. And I said to him something interesting last night that I reminded myself of, and I think we're going to get into this later. And I said, you know what? I forgot to zoom out. I forgot to zoom out and go, okay, well, this is just a blip. So I had to go, I'm grateful for where I am at. And that thing, because I was so sucked into it that I couldn't fucking get out of it. And I wasn't speaking to anyone to remind me to be grateful. And I wasn't doing any work to remind me. I didn't have my pillars. I didn't have my anchors. I was just stuck in this ungrateful sadness of failure and whatever. And the more you sit in there, the frotter it gets.
You said it is to stew in there.
You said it in the beginning. You said that you read a study that said gratitude and anxiety happen in the same part of the brain, which means they can't happen at the same time. Then I think it's easy when you're speaking from a positive perspective about how important gratitude is to simply go, oh, when you're feeling anxious, find your gratitude and it will kill your anxiety. But it honestly happens in the same part of the brain. So I find it so easy, especially in isolation, to get into those spirals because we don't speak about how difficult it is to change that gear from anxiety to gratitude. So it can be exactly that kind of whirlpool where you just get lost in it. Because I find that when I'm going through anxious moments, I know the text, you know what I mean? I understand the study. So I say in that moment, no, what are you grateful for? And I have moments, honestly, where I go, oh, nothing. I cannot find a single thing right now that I'm grateful for. And then it's like, that reminds me that, A, it's true that it happens in the same part of the brain, but it also keeps reminding me why I've got to have such a close and intimate relationship with my gratitude. So I'm very excited that you said, like, you have this board outside. And what the board does, and especially if you live alone, the board helps you first think of a thought, helps you keep that stuff top of mind so that your gratitude is never far, far, far away. And if you obsess with that, so for me, the idea is, or the wish rather is, and I say this almost on every episode, I simply wish that everybody can start their day by training themselves to first exist in a space of gratitude. So start your day grateful for all the battles you've won. That zoom out process you spoke of. It's easy to think it's fucking up, but you were just unpacking all of these beautiful clothes and now leaving half here and half there. Where we once went to Grahamstown, where you had one pair of jeans and 3 t-shirts in your backpack was all you owned in life.
You guys remember?
I remember that. I remember that. I mean, 10 years ago.
They weren't black jeans, they were grey. You know when you wash them so many times.
Yeah, but then now they can go blue or black. You know what I mean? You can change them up. So I can appreciate that very much. Do you find that's a truth? There are times when it's easy to be grateful and it's easy to exist in the splendor of gratitude, and there are times where it can go a month where you'll be blinded to it.
It was longer than a month. I was proper depressed and anxious for about 18 months, you know. And the thing is, it's insidious. So do you guys know what insidious means? Okay, just
explain to Nick just so that I can make sure I know.
So it means it's like quiet. It's like quiet and inside and like it's sneaky. It's sneaky. It's sneaky and it's quiet and it slowly sort of erodes at you, right?
Yes.
And sorry, bring me back.
Oh, so we were speaking about the fact that you went through a year and a half, without finding it. And
okay. So
it's insidious. So it's like a termite.
Yeah, it's a termite,
you don't even
and
see it. This thing can be crawling under the surface. And if you've ever had your house, what do they call it when the exterminator comes to do the thing? If you've ever had your house fumigated, like, you know, we have an ant problem, and the fumigator tells us, "I'll see you in 6 months."
Yeah.
So it's like. I love that example because even when you have it under control, it's constant work. There's never you're just going to fumigate once and all of a sudden you're in the space of gratitude forever.
Exactly.
It's like the ants start coming back immediately. Immediately. So you've got to work on it every single day, and that's the difficulty.
And it's because you get arrogant.
Yes.
You get arrogant and you think, I've done the work. You know, I've been sober for 10 years. I've done the work. I've done all the... Rabinovitz sent me a message saying he wanted to gift me this workshop that his wife does about women and whatever, and it's about self-awareness. I was like, Nick, if I do any more fucking self-awareness, I am going to self-aware.
I'll be aware too much.
You know, exactly. I was over-aware. I was over-aware. Yeah?
No.
And that I was arrogant about it, and I didn't see that I was in a blind spot. And I think, and also, I've now gotten to the point where I sort of done a lot of overcorrection in my mental health process. You know, I don't want to be a burden to other people. I don't want to make my problems your problem, because I always feel like it's bad manners to bring your bad mood to a party, right? And then new medication, a new diagnosis of my mental health, and what it does is make me super fucking calm, and also less reactive.
Yeah.
So, you know, the prefrontal cortex is your part of your brain that controls impulse control. Both of you. Do you remember that one time that I nearly clapped the chick at the club when my eye went small and you had to hold me back because she was talking during someone's set?
Yes.
So that doesn't happen to me anymore because the medication that I'm taking helps me manage my impulse control, right? So I'm not as aggressive. But because now I'm not as aggressive, and because of that, I'm constantly considering other people, but to the point of my own demise, you know? And so I isolated and isolated and isolated and isolated. And I'm like, I'm fine. And then I was like, oh, fuck, I'm not fine, right? And then I started using some of the techniques that I knew. So, okay, cool, behavior affects mood, right? So I've got this one friend, we're the same age, and we said to each other, we went for a long walk, like, just around New Year's. It was either just before like the 30th or the 2nd or whatever. And we said, let's fucking set some goals and let's do this thing, you know? And her goal was to do Ironman or the half Ironman, and mine was to get fucking ripped. You know? And I was
So
like,
you want to be Iron Man? She's
yeah,
Iron
exactly.
I've got you.
And we've been pacing each other, you know, we go to the gym, I wake up in the morning, and that started affecting my mood again, you know. My skin was looking good, my, you know, diet was, because now I need to train in the morning, so I have to make sure that I go to sleep early. But I need to go to sleep early, so I have to eat properly, and then I have to eat the greens because the whole thing. So it was just had this knock-on effect of positivity. But you can't just work on one anchor. You've got to focus on all the rest of the stuff. So I was like, I'm going to date this year. Guys, because I've been single for a long time. So I was explaining this to a friend of mine last night because I was Champions League. Do you guys remember what a savage I was? I was complete and utter savage.
The streets will never forget me.
Yeah. So
The streets will
complete
never
and
forget.
utter. So Champions League shit, take a break, veteran, come back,
Okay, Miss Different.
enter the fucking super disky. Dribbled,
You're on the
boys.
sunshine tour now.
Dribbled. So I forgot that I was unfit for the dating game. So this thing like clapped me 6 ways from Sunday because I hadn't done any work in that thing. So just because you avoid a thing and it's not affecting you anymore doesn't mean
It's not
that you've
happening.
got the fucking chops to handle it.
So that is exactly the description of acceptance.
Right.
So I think that a lot of people, like we use so many different analogies, and one of the analogies we use is acceptance is important because you speak now about, for example, meeting this friend, you set a goal. For me, if you haven't accepted where you are, it's nearly impossible to achieve any goal that you might be setting because plotting the route to those goals needs you to identify. So we think about it like a GPS. The GPS can take you anywhere, plot a route, help you get there, tell you about all of the things that it can warn you about, but you have to tell it where you are now. So before it can take you to wherever it is you want
From
to
your
go,
location.
100%. So if you don't accept, so like you going, I've started doing this, but I realized that there were other things that I wasn't dealing with. For me, that's part of acceptance. So acceptance isn't like this big submission where you just surrender yourself to your problems, but it's identifying to yourself, I'm here. I take responsibility for being here. I don't blame anybody else for being here. And I can love me and find my happiness here, which is like this crazy thing because I meet so many people who have this vicariousness of, okay, cool, I'm only going to be happy when I've completed the Ironman or when I'm shredded. Then I'm like, that doesn't work for me. You've got to be happy first before. Thinking that your happiness is waiting for you down the road, I feel is a weird thing. So to start finding your joy where your feet are now is the hope. But acceptance makes all of those things possible. Where are you on acceptance?
So can we, before we get into that now, because I've been wanting to say, like, you spoke earlier about the days where you can't find the gratitude.
Yeah.
Where you can't, because I've also had those days where it's impossible, and that's like you see the things, you know what this is here. It's very positive. I'm grateful to have it in my life, but it costs me. But it has a negative effect. But there's always something that's negative. Then I find that's where you've got to use the other pillars, the acceptance and the perspective, because those are when you need to accept who you are, because you can't find that gratitude today because you're in a terrible space. So you've got to first accept that this is where I am.
Yes.
Before you can then find the gratitude. And sometimes you still can't find the gratitude, even when you've accepted. And then you've got to change the perspective to see a different angle as to why you're in the situation. Why am I not shredded? Why am I not dating? Your perception has to change. And that's why the three have to go together.
Yes. I like that very much. That the thing you said about zooming out is the thing that we've spoken often about over the years, where you become so fixated on this one thing and you start convincing yourself that your whole life is fucked, and it's not. You know what I mean? If you zoom out, so like for me, sometimes you got to keep zooming out until you get to a backpack with one pair of jeans. You know what I mean? So it's like I've got certain markers in my mind. Which would be my backpack with one pair of jeans to go, keep zooming out until you get to a point where you go, oh, okay, actually, it's actually great. Like that person with one backpack, this is their wildest dream that I'm living now. And possibly that. But I love that idea of that's exactly when you must access the others, because I've never thought about it like that. Yeah,
because the point,
that's exactly
the thing for me is that we keep talking about gap, but there's no, and we say that they're linked, but there's no,
not showing
the people how the three work together. And that for me is, because I've also been in a space where looking for the gratitude and you're just like, it's not coming. And before you know it, like you say, I've got that similar thing of, I don't want to burden other people with my problems. We don't want to go through kak. And then all of a sudden you're sitting in a place where you're 18 months in now and you're going, oh shit, I'm depressed. Because you haven't taken the time to use the gap, to use the gratitude.
Yeah, find the perspective and things like that.
100%. So it's so fascinating that the older you get, the more obvious it becomes that if you don't move, you're gonna stay where you are. Like it sounds like such a simple sentence, but I so many times in my life, all it took was just take a step, man. Just take a step. You don't like you're catching a breeze here. It's not feeling like here. You're catching the sun, the whatever. Just move. And very often you feel incapacitated. You feel like you can't move. You want to move. You should move.
You're heavy. You're stuck.
And then that thing starts eating me like our diet. The reason I don't believe in diets is because I just end up disappointing myself, and then the self-loathing of I've go through a stage where I've had a huge emotional breakdown, and now I deserve white bread. And the second I've eaten the white bread, now I hate myself because I made a promise to myself and I've broken this commitment to myself. And that all of that, like it's so easy to get into that whirlpool of self-loathing and negativity, and just keep beating yourself up. So like,
which
how do you
justifies all the 100%?
It's so you're articulating something that I've experienced so viscerally, with health stuff.
You guys know what viscerally means.
There's no need to be.
I've been
rude.
such a bitch, my God. And I had to kind of go, oh, all I'm doing is going, I should have, and I'm living in the past. I shouldn't have started smoking again. I shouldn't have whatever, and did you quit?
25th of March.
Congratulations, my friend. That's fantastic.
Cold turkey.
Well done.
No more
Well
tobacco.
done. Yeah, I read
me swag.
Yeah. I read the book. I was doing all the things. I had such a fantastic run of, because also I'm that person who's like, and I've never wanted to speak about this in public because
No, but now we are here.
we are here. I've never wanted to speak about it in public because it's been my dirty secret, because I don't drink, I don't take drugs, I don't do anything mind altering. I really focus on everything that serves dopamine in a good way. But when I hit a wobbly a month ago, the last full moon, look, am I any esoteric people here? That full moon in Cancer, like, I spoke to so many girls, and we all got our period at the same time, and that moon fucked all of us 6 love, and it was just very, very hectic. You guys don't know what it's like to
No,
have a
listen, I
period.
got a big stomach.
Yeah,
Even
you
me,
guys don't know. Like,
I
even
also
like
get
last
affected.
night, you guys were saying that you have, babalas this
Yeah.
morning. And at 4 o'clock this morning, I woke up with such severe period pains that it was like I couldn't walk to the kitchen to try and find a painkiller. It was just very crippling.
Can I tell you that we believe you?
Mm.
We went with that thing with the Minister of Menstruation that put the simulation on us, and even the simulation is unbearable. Like
It's not what you actually feel.
your body's hate
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Like I don't know why your body
Yeah.
would do that to you. That's like a hateful thing
No,
to
it was
do.
horrendous. And then, so I was scrounging around, couldn't find the Nurofen, realized I left them in the car. Then I found a Panado, took 2, and then I put the electric blanket on because I thought, okay, maybe that would find it. And then I found this other like herbal rub that's like a Vicks but more
Muti.
intense. Yeah, it's actually literally Muti. That Mom Flora gave it to me. So I found the Muti. I put the Muti on, and then I like lay face flat on the bed and I put the thing on. But then I fell asleep with the thing on. So then I had nightmares. Guys, I had a rough night. I had a rough fucking night, and I was like, okay, cool. So basically, all I'm saying is we're on the same fucking page.
Are we?
We are
No,
on
but
the
also
same page.
You had
Don't
a
stress.
rough night, and yet you are here. You showed up with bells on, smile on your face.
Yes, because I woke up feeling so fucking grateful. I really did. And that was my intention, And
Yeah.
I also let stuff go. I was like, so Nina, you hit a wobbly a month ago. You smoked a few fucking cigarettes. And you've got the thing is, I accepted it because I went to therapy yesterday for the first time in like a year. I made an appointment with Hanan, and I went and I looked at my framework and I went, okay, these are my pillars. This is what I'm working on. And right now, my priorities are X, Y, and Z. And this other thing is not the priority right now, and I've accepted that. Okay, so my priority is diet because I don't fucking eat. I forget. Sometimes I get to like 8 p.m. and I'm like, why do I want to cry? I hate everybody. Everybody hates me. And then I was like, oh, you haven't eaten today.
Not once.
And then
Never ever.
it's
forgot.
ADHD,
to eat.
guys. You can forget
No.
lots of things.
No, I forget everything else.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
eating.
Forget
Yeah.
people's names.
No.
Yeah.
I literally forget. And
Sometimes I like remember twice. And I eat both times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I never forget.
never. Anyway, so I accepted it and I went, okay, cool. And I zoomed out. On a regular, if I look at my whole self, have I been this, where my finances are in a much better place? I'm like sorting all my stuff out. My business plan, I did a SWOT analysis on myself last week. Okay, where am I at? Where are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, or threats? Okay, cool. How can I focus on this? So I just did a whole recalibration. I took the machine to the shop. And
For
I was like,
service.
for a fucking service, a full service. Take it,
Because the
A
oil
to
is
Z.
changing itself.
Yeah,
Moss.
yeah, exactly.
It's that's funny.
I mean, it is. Sorry,
Terrible,
that
it's
was
funny.
my hormones responding
no,
to
no.
you. Yeah,
I
that
love that you
came
just
straight
spoke
from
about-
my fucking.
No, I don't
Yeah,
just
yeah.
react anymore
yeah.
because I'm on these
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
WhatsApp.
That
I'm
wasn't
very
me.
good at-
That
No,
wasn't
but-
me. That was from the womb.
That was on behalf of
Yeah.
all
I'll
women.
accept
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah,
I'll
exactly.
accept that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You spoke about Robin Sharma earlier, and one of the very few books that I've read, I wasn't say the greatest, like I have a catalog, but the very few books that I've read was The Leader with No Title by Robin Sharma, which I suggest to everybody. My major takeout from that book, and just listening to the structure and the way you approach sorting out your life, one of the things that the book speaks to is that we lust after given titles and given power. So we lust after, I think it's a bit different for us because we're not in corporate. But when people work in those structured environments, when you start in your first interview, they go, oh, you really got supervisor potential, and they really start baiting you with manager potential. You want to be the head of and they said what happens
And play
is
to you. Oh, sorry.
what
oops.
happens is psychologically, those titles, and I think I'm not saying businesses mustn't have titles. They're very important to assume responsibility, etc. And structure. But a lot of people find their identity in the power that comes with a title. then that same business who's given you a title can take the title away. And a lot of people find themselves spiraling out of control because now I was the marketing manager and all of a sudden I'm not the marketing manager. And my whole identity was based on I'm the marketing manager. The idealism of the book says, imagine if you could give yourself a title that could never be taken away. And what that means is, instead of aspiring to be the CEO of a business, first aspire to be the CEO of you. Be the CEO of Nina Hastie. So all of those languages that you used just now, SWOT analysis, that's never been used for personal mental wellness. People have used that for years to highlight business vulnerabilities, strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, etc. We understand those applications, but we never apply those things to ourselves. I know Hanan, obviously I've seen Hanan a lot of times, and the brilliant part about Hanan is Hanan makes it very, very simple. So he also goes, you're going to feel unhappy where there is shortfalls in your life. So then he goes, most people have these shortfalls, but nobody's actually done a stock take of where am I relationship-wise? So what are my most important relationships? How are those relationships doing? Can I write that down? Myself and my wife, we're 85%. Got some work to do, but, overall very good. Myself and my friends, and it gives you a visual representation of where you need to be focusing your energy. You can do that about your religion, your time spent, your work. You can, really break it down to have like almost a business view of your life. But I think as an acceptance exercise, it's a marvelous, marvelous tool, because the thing only works if you're brutally honest about any of these pillars that you deem to be the important parts of your life. But then the stuff that's sorted, you don't have to worry about that stuff. You rather give the stuff that needs attention. You got to keep measuring it and balancing it.
Keeps changing.
So one of the big things, and I was speaking to him about, is like, how come I got so washed with this last situationship thing? How come I got so washed? And then I had a realization after my session, or during the session, I realized because all my other pillars were weak, and I finally got something that really made me happy. And then when that thing was pulled away, I was absolutely fucking miserable. But from a hormonal perspective in your brain, so there was just a lack of dopamine, lack of serotonin in general. This one thing gave me a massive spike, and I wasn't working hard for my dopamine in other places. I was doing my fucking utmost, but there was just a general lack of fulfillment in other spaces, family stuff, all kinds of other cuck. So I realized, okay, cool. So I was putting emphasis on this when actually all these other things needed to be the thing. And then when I repositioned that in my brain, I was like, okay, cool. So this must take a back seat. Because I actually don't have the strength to take the what?
No, you have to reposition in your mind.
Yeah.
Because you have to change your perspective.
Correct.
100%.
Perspective.
We've been
Exactly.
talking about these
Exactly.
things.
So exactly. I changed my perspective on that thing not being important, these other things being important. But, you're a person, you've got feelings, you've got patterns, you've got hormones that your body is releasing, oxytocin, serotonin, emotions, whatever. And then wrestling your ego and going, oh, fuck. And then you realize, oh, well, actually, it's got nothing to do with me, whether this person feels this way or that way or whatever the fuck they've got going on in your life. And you say those things intellectually, but your heart feels other cuck. And then you go, okay, well, let me look for enough happiness everywhere else so that it overshadows whatever you're feeling here. Because feelings are just an assignment of the importance that you've created for the drugs that are released in your brain at the time. So what was quite interesting is I went to Hanan and I said, listen, I've just done a stock take on myself in this way. What do you think of this? And then there was something massive that I was struggling with. And that was I felt, oh, fuck, I just remembered something about work and SWOT analysis. Oh, sorry, just bring me back to this. I want to tell you something more importantly. So you guys interview a lot of artists. You speak to a lot of artists. And then I was speaking to Holly's mom, and she's like, you guys, why do you take Knox so personally? And I was like, well, the thing is, we are the brands.
You are the
So
brand.
and the product. We're the machine, we're the brand, we're the product. So Mercedes-Benz or BMW or Ford or whoever, they don't go, this 3 Series just isn't, doing well, and they don't hate themselves, because we are the thing.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to separate your worth from your success of your business, right? Because, and it was like that thing where you're saying you've identified it as the CEO. So if my entire personality is I'm a comedian, and then I stopped doing comedy for a bit, who the fuck am I?
Yeah.
Right? So I had to go, because I did take a break from comedy because it wasn't like exciting my soul for a bit. And also I felt I didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
And
you
I
had
think,
other things to do as well.
and I
It
had
wasn't like
other
you
things.
weren't doing anything.
Yeah. Oh, no, I was fucking busy. I was doing creative directing an award-winning advert. And, you know, New York Film Festival, bronze. And, you know, so I was doing other things. But the point is, you can't pin, and we've spoken about this millions of times, you can't pin your happiness and your value and your self-worth on your craft or your business. It's got to live somewhere else. And since I've changed that, it really helped me get out of that spiral. So when you do the analysis and you look at yourself and you do the perspective and you accept, okay, cool. So there's some fucked up shit going on in my life, and in my business and whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm not that.
Yes.
I am in the best place I've been from a personal perspective of how I respect people, of how I'm able now, because I'm correctly medicated, to not react and snap and, you know, be this person that I didn't enjoy being, you know, and to treat every situation with the person that I am. And I'm actually a big softie, you know. I've created this hardcore image, but I'm a big softie.
How do you manage then? Because I hate the idea that we've all fallen for that. Nina says, I've been taking some medication, which helps me with my reactions, so I don't snap, which is not true. You're still going to snap.
Yeah.
There's going to be bad days. There's going to be, and not even days where you forgot to take the pill. There'll just be days where snapping will still happen. So when you snap and you identify that this is the version of me that I don't want, how are you dealing with that, Nina? The one that is snapping and breaking the agreement that you've made with yourself to not snap.
So there's a few ways of dealing with it, because now it impacts another person. So remember, I use many schools of thought and many different techniques to get through these things. And I can either use the 12 steps from the AA work, or there's something called Landmark that I've also done. First of all, you have to take accountability for the thing, right? So I have to go, I'm really sorry that I fucking did that. Or you've got to go back and go, shit, were there people I've hurt in my life before? You know, you've got to take stock of your life. Okay, cool. These are the people that I've hurt. Sometimes you don't remember, but you try 100%. Your very best. And then you go and make amends with those people. But here's the fucking kicker.
Yeah.
They don't have to accept your apology. And you have to accept that. Because it's actually got fuck all to do with you. They're welcome to hate you.
100%.
You know? Yeah. So there's that part.
Because the work is on yourself. It's not
correct.
from them. So
Just
no matter what they feel,
you can't put it on them either.
Accept.
They got to do the same work. They got to
exactly.
heal themselves. Yeah.
So there's that part. And then when I get to the thing, I've gone, and this is something I learned from Hanan yesterday, which I hadn't heard before from him. So there's the chin up or the chin down approach. So the chin down is like now sitting in it, looking down, looking at the why. Why did I do that? Why am I feeling like this? Thinking about your feelings. Whereas the chin up approach is like chin up and what can I do next? So it's just you're looking forward. So, okay, cool, I did that. I smoked a cigarette. I snapped at someone. Whatever.
Chin up is also not denying. It's head on.
Yeah,
it's head on. I'm dealing with this thing that I've done.
Absolutely.
But my chin's up. We're moving.
Exactly.
We're moving. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and also if people don't tell you that you've like hurt them, how are you also supposed to know?
Facts.
So how do I know that like I've upset you or whatever? Like, so fuck you then actually for not telling me. That's on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people just avoid confrontation. So is it like, you know, as a softie as well, I'd rather just go, whatever you've done to hurt me, that's on you. That's you carrying something. So most times I'll avoid the engagement, the conflict, just because I go, whatever you're saying to me, however you're feeling about me in this moment, has nothing to do with me. No matter what I did, if you're overreacting or swearing or losing your shit to me, I go, cool, thanks. And then I turn and move. I don't need to.
Do you let it go in that moment, or do you carry it through the day?
No, I let it go.
Oh, is it?
I let it go because it's got nothing to do with me, and I now carry that energy that you have.
Yes.
Not me. I now change my perspective on the day, on what's happening. I become a different person based off of your anger, not off of now
Right.
I'm angry. I treat Jason differently when I
Right.
engage with him because I come with a different energy. So then I've and it took me a long time because I was also a road rager and
Yeah.
ready for
Yeah.
action at any point. And then I just realized that it doesn't serve me. It doesn't do anything except poison my energy and my belief and feelings. So then I've learned to let things
I
go.
also like, I don't, it sounds terrible to say, but do you know how much I've got to like you for me to hold on to it? So like you said, and I like that interrogation of, so you're not vocalizing that this person has upset you to avoid the conflict. Are you suppressing and carrying that? Then I can back Nick up and say, honestly not, because I don't care enough about you to A, respond and feel the way you're feeling, B, to match your energy and give you a reaction, because most people just want a reaction and want you to feel the same way. And it sounds terrible, but that thing of, if your opinion of me and my debit orders are not in the same WhatsApp group, that's how my brain works it out. You are not important enough to ruin my day. You don't mean enough in my world. Why would I give you so much power? Why
And
would
this
I
thing
give
we
you so much
do
power?
uses energy and
Yeah.
our emotions. We put it out on stage, on camera, on whatever. We use our emotions and we engage with the content. And we just can't afford to have those small engagements. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to leave it. I'll let you go the first time. I'll let you go the second time. The third time, I'm going to stop you and go, this is now becoming a problem. We don't.
But
you
also,
don't
if the
engage
person
with
is
it.
important in your life, you call me out on the first
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if the person is important, we're not saying avoid conflict. Conflict is good, but it's also don't waste your. You know what I mean. Make sure the conflict is worth your
Your
time,
time,
your
Right,
energy,
right,
your
right.
peace.
Is this
you know
thing
what I mean?
worth
Is this
saving?
relationship worth it? Also,
Do I see
you know
you
what I
often
mean?
enough to have this
100%.
argument and deal with these
Oh
emotions?
no, I've become good at just cutting people out. It's terrible.
Yeah, but also you guys have it's a practice that you've
Oh, you've got
had,
it.
so
Like
you've got
you
to
say,
practice
yes.
it.
Absolutely.
Daily.
Absolutely. But it starts from that whole, we all speak about self-worth. Then I don't think we go into enough detail to go, where must your worth be prioritized? Where must your worth not be negotiated? And it's literally this crazy thing of realizing that a taxi cutting you off, that taxi driver is not worth you ruining the rest of your day.
Also,
He's
that
not
taxi
worth
driver's
it.
got like 10 people
100%.
putting pressure on
And
him because
nobody
they've got to
does-
get to fucking work on
It's
time.
not about you.
Yeah.
He's not cutting you off. He's just cutting in wherever he can find a gap. It's not personal. So like I think a lot of us, and I once had a friend, tragic story, but he said something so interesting to me. His wife had cheated on him. He'd gone through her phone eventually and found all the messages. And I said to him, bro, how are you coping? And he said, dude, when I read the messages, I realized that she wasn't doing this to me. There was nowhere where she mentioned me. There was nowhere where she spoke about me. So it would have been easy for me to feel like she did this cheating thing to me, but it was something wrong within her that she was doing. She was doing this to herself, not to me. And I thought that his perspective, it was so adult to be able to identify that he's not saying she didn't do something wrong, but the action wasn't about him. Which
Wasn't
is such
done
a
to hurt him.
which is such a adult thing to be able to admit in that type
I'm
of
so much jealous of that maturity.
situation. No, I don't have it. I don't
We
have
often
it.
speak about the fact that everything, we always feel like everything's personal.
Right.
Like everyone's doing it
The
to
4
us.
agreements.
Oh, what a beautiful book.
Yeah.
Hey
Don't
guys, we
take
are
it
literate
personally.
here.
Don't take it personally. Everybody's just living life, doing the thing, going through their own cuck. And yes, sometimes it may affect your life, but doesn't mean that I'm intentionally out trying to make
Yeah.
you feel cuck. Trying to. No,
It's
just
also
like,
easy to allow yourself to be affected by everything to feel important. You know what I mean? You meet a lot of people. We've got like, and I hope she watches this, but we've got a body corporate lady who's got nothing but the body corporate happening in her life.
But
And
everybody corporate's got that
now-
fucking person.
now-
like
now-
it's people that have nothing to do that join the body
but
corporate.
now things are life and death for her. You know what I mean? Life and death. And then I'm like, no, that's just a tree. Just breathe, lady. You know what I mean? Like it's also perspective. Like, we've all got different levels, and therefore you can't think for other people. You have to protect yourself. Nina, we end with the Goliath Happiness Index. The index is super simple: gratitude, acceptance, perspective. We ask where you are right now 1 being super low, almost non-existent, 5 being bulletproof, couldn't be better. So in a space of gratitude, your ability to access gratitude consistently, 1 to 5, where's Nina?
In life or this morning?
You can answer both.
I think I'm in a good 4, hey?
Strong.
Yeah, but it's a spike because I was at about a 2, literally 2 weeks ago.
So then I'm going to give you a 3 because I think that's fine. And I think
Okay.
that like for me, if you go 4, put yourself under that pressure of, oh, I'm going to be magnificent now forever. And then,
I don't know
Okay,
if
so-
it's about
Yeah?
I'm be magnificent for if it's about like you're saying today. That's how
no, but I like, I'm saying
Yeah, yeah.
because Nina's admitting it about 4 today, but last week I was easily a 2.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I think a 3 is fair because you allow yourself that variance.
Yeah, let's go.
No,
Let's go
but you
3.
can't-
Like no, because the amount of work that I've done and the structure I've now created for
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
to sustain that
Yeah.
4 is so solid that I believe in the 4.
Got you.
So that's
So,
what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
you can't,
Got you.
I feel like we can't change.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I also think that it's that personal thing.
It's your personal goal, your
But
personal
I'm
target.
also so honest about it that I don't mind the fluctuation.
Yeah,
you
it
know
can
what I mean?
fluctuate. It can
100%.
fluctuate.
And I think
that's
just that
something
openness to
important
it is a positive
for,
thing.
for those that are watching to understand, because
Yes.
there must never be the belief that, oh, this is going to be the key
100%.
to make me eternally
No, there's no
happy.
magic
Right.
pill that you just
Yeah.
take and all of a
So
sudden
even when you find you've
just
got all
grateful
the
and happy every day.
structures,
No.
you know, you've read all the books, you've done all the things, life is going to come and moor you every
Why
single
does life
day,
love
and then
mooring,
you've
man?
just got
I
to
think
keep,
life is from Boksburg.
yeah.
No, life is from Pretoria. I can fucking tell you that.
Yeah. There's actually a place in Mthatha called Mur.
Really?
Yeah. And it's got its nickname. Donovan told me the story. It got its nickname because it's a colored area, and whenever anybody non-colored used to walk through, all they used to hear is Muro, Muro, Mur, Mur, Mur. Now the place is called Mur because if you go there, you're
Hilarious.
gonna get Mur. That's all you hear. Muro, Mur. I was like, that's amazing.
There's another place before you carry on. There's another place. It's my favorite name in South Africa of a town. 2 buffels met 1 skoot mors dood geskiet
Best.
fontein.
That town lets you know what's up. I like a town that goes, we don't waste bullets
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
En ons skiet mors dood.
Yeah.
Mors dood. Don't come here with
Also, brandewyn is
with
cheap
your
there.
woke. Don't come with
can
your
buy,
wokeness here by us.
2 buffels.
Mors. Yay. Morsag.
No, brandy is just special in that place. It's just
Acceptance. Acceptance, Nina, 1 to 5.
Woo, cha. Acceptance.
Yeah. Accepting who, what, where.
Actually, I think, guys, even so, if you last week when you saw me, I would have said 3.5.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I would have said 2. Today, I'll say a solid 4.
Good.
Also, one thing about me is if I've decided that I need to fucking work on myself, I don't hold back.
All in.
I'm Orin. I'm Orin.
Was that from your K-dramas? Or-
K-dramas.
Oh,
Yeah.
just making
K-dramas.
Sure. Just
Yeah,
checking.
Yeah.
Perspective. Being able to zoom out.
Bro, and often, when you teach, you learn, right? When you teach, you learn. And me giving that advice to my friend yesterday about zooming out helped me go, oh, fuck. Yes.
I used to sit on a
like,
plastic chair and watch someone else's TV.
Yep.
I was the wailing lady from 53.
Yep.
Yeah, perspective. I think, again, solid 4. But let's revisit this. But as I say, there's a structure that wasn't there this last year and a half. I didn't have my framework solid. I didn't have my plans. I wasn't accountable to anybody or anything. Oh, that's the thing I wanted to bring from before. I was feeling very resentful that I didn't have anybody to report to as a person. So I was feeling very lonely, like there's nobody I can talk to. There's nobody, And then I was like, but why is there nobody? Oh, because you're fucking isolating, Nina.
Yeah.
That's your own shit.
You close the door.
I closed the door on my therapist, on my friends, on the people that I relied on because I was struggling to trust people.
And it's you say no one to report to, but we need people to hold us accountable.
1000%.
We
You
need
need
that
you need
shit.
people to be accountable, and you need goals to be accountable to. So if you don't have that accountability system, then of course you're going to fucking spiral. Of course the termites are going to get in. So when I say to you, I'm at a 4 now, and I've got the rest of the things in place so that I can adjust before I come down to a 3.
I love it so much. In this exact energy, you're going to look into that middle camera there, and for 30 seconds, tell us why people have to watch this episode of the Happiness Economy podcast.
This episode of the Happiness Economy podcast is going to give you so much information backed by research and experience and perspective that's going to help you understand techniques to be better in a very easy way. We use great metaphors and life experience and funny little stories, but mostly all of this shit is backed by science. It's not wishy-washy.
It's not wishy-washy.
Ons pratica.
The Happiness Economy podcast. That's a new t-shirt. Somebody make a note. The Happiness Economy podcast on the back. It's not wishy-washy.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Nina Hastie.
Can we also put ons pratikaki?
Ons
But
praat
ons praat
kak.
kak, because we're a bit of comedian,
Yeah.
so there is a bit of kak praat.
No,
Ons-
but the serious stuff
oh,
is like...
hier praat ons die kakkie. Like,
Yeah,
like
that's-
specifically.
Ja, hier praat ons
No, but
kakkie.
here we do pratkak also.
So then where do we not praat kak?
No, just
It's
in
just
the
not
general...
wishy-washy. It's just not
Oh,
fucking...
Not wishy-washy.
Can't we just say the Happiness Economy? It's not kak. Or do we have to put the don't praat kak?
Can't we just say... the
No,
happiness
can't we
economy?
just say
Klaar.
the happiness economy? It's not wishy-washy.
Follow
I
us
like
on
that.
Instagram.
The Happiness Economy. It's not wishy-washy. It's more wax on, wax offy.
Somebody said on a thing today, they're like, what is demure and thingy? Is it like someone trying to be buddy-buddy? I was like, yes, how old are you? Who says buddy-buddy?
Trying to be buddy,
Listen,
buddy.
yeah, good.